Hey everybody, I'm Phil Tivel. I'm here to give you your 2024-2025 winter weather outlook using ptweather.com to perform the analysis. I'm going to try to do this quickly. I'm going to focus on a few things. I'm going to show you our past winters. I'm going to show you sea surface temperatures and how I'm going to use those to correlate how much snow we've been getting in the past and how much I think we'll get this next season. So we'll do this quickly. First off, we'll start with our past season snowfalls. And I've already got those up right in front of you. These are our 2023, 2024 snowfall totals. I'm going to really be focusing in on this area for my analysis, the DC area, starting up here a little bit north of Baltimore and down to about Fredericksburg, kind of encompasses our DC region. So if I hit submit on that, again, looks pretty sad. Our average snowfall total for this entire area was about 9.47 inches. If we go backwards in time, this is back in 2023, our winter of 2023. This whole area got almost nothing, less than an inch. 2022, we're up to about 16 inches on average. That was pretty good. 2021, about 15 inches. And then 2020, 3 inches. Sad again. 2019, decent. I can keep going back. Let's look at a graph of this area. So we're going to go over here to the more and go to graph, and we're going to use snow, and we're going to use the model of reanalysis season. It goes back to 2009, but it's very accurate. Hopefully it'll go back further than that someday. This is going to be all of our winters from 2009 to 2020-24 in this boxed area on a graph. And you can see it's not a good trend. Back in 2009, 2010, if you remember, we had this monster snow year where we had a couple blizzards, which is why we have this big point up here above 60 inches for this whole area. That's unusual, so no wonder why we have this downward trend. But even if we take that out of the picture, there's still a very sad downward trend. So the next step is let's identify why this is happening. So next, we're going to move on to sea surface temperatures. All right, I've already pulled up a map of our sea surface temperature anomaly. I'm using the ERA5 monthly model. I'm using the parameter sea surface temperature anomaly, and I'm doing it for the month of November. So it's the average sea surface temperatures anomaly for the month of November. Right off the bat, you see a couple interesting things. This big red blob here. This is called the PDO, the Pacific Decadal Oscillation. It doesn't change very often. That's why it's decadal. And then right now, it's very warm, very above average. Down here is where you normally get the El Nino and La Nina is happening. It's the ENSO, the El Nino Southern Oscillation. Kind of that area. That was a terrible polygon, I apologize, but you get what I'm saying. This area down here. These two areas often play a role in our winters. A lot of people this winter are saying that the La Nina is going to be a weak La Nina, and that's going to influence our snows and keep them down a little bit. Well, it is not a weak La Nina right now. Technically, it's got some blue over here, but for it to be a weak La Nina, it's got to be negative 0.5 degrees below normal, and it's just not that right now. This is still neutral. So you can see we're at negative 0.3 in this box that I drew. If we go back to January of 2024, you can see now we're in a strong El Nino. That's last winter. So it can change pretty quick. Like the PDO up there, even though I don't have it showed anymore, it's largely the same as the last map I showed you. All right, so let's see what's happened with the El Nino, La Nina phases over the last few years. We're going to go to the graph tab, leave it as sea surface temperature anomaly, and we'll go 2015 to 2024, and we'll go month by month, and we can see a graph of what this anomaly looks like. So all the way back to 2015, you can see we're over here, 2016, above 4 degrees in that area, above normal. Down here, these are La Ninas. We're way below zero, negative 1, negative 2 degrees. So El Nino is above zero, La Nina is below zero. Here's our 2024 winter season, where we had a strong El Nino. all those past winters before that, we had some really lame winters. Well, we also had a weak to moderate La Nina. Where we sit now? Well, right now we're kind of at a neutral phase, and we don't know exactly where it's going to go from here. Everyone's predicting it's going to go south, but if I had $1 for every time someone said it's going to become an El Nino or La Nina during the winter seasons and it didn't, I'd be rich. So right now it's neutral. We can get a little bit of an idea of where it's going by graphing the daily. I'll go ahead and do that. ERA 5 daily. And we're going to do the sea surface temperature anomaly. And what we're going to do is we're going to look from October 1st, 2024 to, I think we'll have December 4th, 2024 out by now. And we're going to look at this area, and we should be able to see some sort of change in which way the ENSO is going. So you can see, even though November averaged pretty much at 0, there's a lot of movement in there. At one point it got down to below -1 degrees in that box I drew at the start of November, and it got above 0 in late November and then started to drop again. So right now it looks like we're kind of in a dropping phase. Today it is below -0.6, around -0.7. So technically that is a very weak La Nina. Does it stay that way? We don't know yet. But yeah, we can say today we're at a very weak La Nina, and we'll see if it continues that way. All right, next, the PDO. All right, I've brought up the global temperatures again. These are of December 4th, 2024, and these are the daily temperatures in the anomaly. You can see the PDO again over here, the Pacific Decadal Oscillation. It doesn't change very often. It doesn't change very fast. But it plays a significant role in our winter, as I'm going to show you in a little bit with the correlations. If you want to see the past PDOs, you can go to the NOAA website. You can also do it in my graph tab, but I've already got the NOAA website open with the PDO and its negative phase and positive phases right here since 1980. And you can see we're in a strongly negative phase right now. As strong as it's been. A little counterintuitive because this phase here means it's warm over here. If it was colder over here, then we'd be in a positive phase. And going back in time, I've noticed that a lot of our big snowstorms seem to happen when we're close to neutral or positive. I can't find almost any snowstorms when we're in these negative phases, these strongly negative phases. And if you remember, the last few years when I was showing you the snowfall totals in our area, they've been pretty sad, all the way back to about 2020. That's when the PDO started getting really strongly positive over here. Negative over here, excuse me, when those ocean temperatures started getting really positive over here. All right, so next I'm going to show you what this means for our winter. I've made a new tab in PT Weather called Correlation. And what this lets you do, it lets you choose 2 areas and 2 variables and look at them over time. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw a box over our giant big red monster over here. And I'm going to draw another one for our DC region. Same area where I was doing those terrible snowfall totals, showing you those awful snowfall totals this past 4 or 5 years. So we'll go up here all the way down to about Fredericksburg. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to do a correlation between the temperatures here and over here to see how does that affect our snowfalls. So we're going to choose sea surface temperature anomaly here, and we're going to choose snow over here. And there's a couple type of correlations we can do, linear, non-linears. For now, we're going to do linear. It's not. No, this one is. It's La Nina that's not, and I'll show you that next. We'll go back 30 years. Let's start with December's. And we're going to look how these 2 areas are correlated. And so up here we have a scatter plot of snow on the y-axis and sea surface temperatures on the x-axis. And right off the bat, you can see that, some of these bigger snow totals happen when we're not in the positive, when we don't have high temperatures there, when we're in the positive phase of the PDO, which we're not. Right now, we're off the charts. I think this dot here was last year, and now we're like off the chart over here. So it does seem to be that sea surface temperatures, as they go up in that area, cause our snow totals to go down. This is just December though. The other thing I'm noticing that is this is not constant from month to month. It changes, but it does show a significant correlation. It's moderate, negative 0.45, but it is a correlation. A negative one meaning as the temperatures warm there, our snowfall totals go down. All right. Now let's go look at that for January. And this one actually surprised me. And you know what? We're going to start going back more. Let's go back to 1980, get a bigger sample size. I can go back all the way to 1941. I wouldn't necessarily do that because I feel like before 1980, the data in the ocean over data they've collected in the ocean here might not be the most accurate. But right now we're going to go look at 80 to 2024 for January's. Okay, so this is a little bit more random. You still see some big snowfall totals while the temperatures are colder, but there are a couple outliers here where it's warmer. It doesn't seem to be as effective. It doesn't seem to matter as much in the month of January. And sure enough, that correlation value is not significant. It's negative 0.13 in the very weak correlation area to no correlation. Let's go to February's. And so this is only looking at the months of February. Now, February is a big month for us. We often get our biggest snowstorms in February. Well, this scatter plot is not good for us. You see all of our bigger snows happen when we're close to neutral or negative. It really suppresses our snow in February as those ocean temperatures get warmer there, as that PDO hits a more negative phase. And that's exactly what's happening right now. That is not good. Linear correlation, again, negative 0.43, significant. It is a moderate correlation. Over here, you can see the sea surface temperatures versus the snow and compare them on those two graphs over time. And so all these four charts provide some level of relevance for you to study and look at. And you can do this anywhere in the world if you want to see how other areas are affected by sea surface temperature or some other parameter. All right, that's February. Let's look at March. Not our biggest month of snows in the DC area, but we'll take a look anyways. This seems a little bit more random. You actually see more snowfall totals when we're in between -1 and 1, between -1 and 2 and 1 and 2. For nonlinear correlations or things that look nonlinear, I advise you to use the distance type for correlation. I don't think this will show a correlation either, but we'll take a look. -2.1. It's only positive for the distance correlation. But yeah, it doesn't really see much of a correlation. A little bit stronger than the last one, but barely. So really, December and February are strong, noticeable. There's significant correlations for the sea surface temperature in this area and our snowfall. All right. Next, we're going to look at, do we have something similar for the La Nina? All right, I've already set up the map for a La Nina correlation. I've got our area highlighted down here and our DC area up here highlighted in red. And those are our two boxes for sea surface temperature anomaly in the blue and snow totals in the red. Now, we're going to do a correlation in the month of December, 1980 through 2024, and see, is there a correlation between the sea surface temperature anomaly and the distance there, and the snow there. And we're doing a distance correlation. And right off the bat, it looks pretty random. Scrolling down, distance correlation 0.24, very weak. Okay, so not really in the month of December. Let's go to January. For January's 1980 through 2024, this is interesting. We have higher snowfall totals showing up at stronger La Nina seasons or stronger El Nino seasons. And more neutral seasons, we seem to be having between 0 to 10 inches pretty consistently. Weak correlation, but still interesting that none of our outliers are in here for larger snow totals. All right, let's look at February. All right, so for February, we can see when it's warmer, get some of those bigger snow totals. A little bit suppressed as it continues to get colder, but also a little bit all over the place. Not a huge correlation. Again, weak to minimal. And right now we are kind of looking at this area, but I think the PDO is going to be a much stronger driver. Go to March. And March is just all over the place. Doesn't seem like we're in a bad area if we want to get lucky and get a snowstorm in March. I don't think this is going to be happening because of the strong PDO. Also, this is not a significant correlation. So I think with the PDO and the La Nina, I think we have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen this season. So what is my prediction for this 2024-2025 winter season? Right now, what we know from where we are right now, it's mid-December. The rest of December is not looking good. It's possible something happens from Christmas to New Year's. I would say it's more likely that it won't, but we'll see. But we do know that a strong PDO does tend to suppress snow in December. Doesn't have as much of an effect in January, but the La Nina doesn't really have big snowfalls happening during a weak La Nina, neutral La Nina in January. And so I don't expect, typically those were like between 0 and 10 inches. And then in February, again, the PDO seems to take over and really suppress our snowfall totals. As this is warmer, snowfall totals went down pretty linearly. And then in March, well, March is kind of hit or miss with us. Usually it's a miss, but winter is kind of ending at the start of March, and that's really our only best chance to get snow is the start of March. But it's possible we'll get something then, but I'm not gonna count on it. That's for sure. So what do I think our totals are going to be? I think you got to look at our closest season that matches these sea surface temperatures. And unfortunately for us, I think if we go back to January 2023, that's our closest match. It's got a little bit stronger of a La Nina than we did, but we might be moving to this. And if you remember correctly, those little boxes I drew at the start of this video showing our snowfall totals, this was when we had 1/2 inch in our entire area on average. So not good. So I am not hopeful for this winter. I hope that I'm wrong because I love snow. But just looking at the data, and I'm not a meteorologist, but I am a data guy. Looking at the data, it seems like we're not going to get much snow. A lot of the forecasters have predicted a wide range. I've got some of them written down here. ABC's got 5 to 10 for our area. CBS 10 to 20. Let's see, NBC 6 to 13. Fox 5 4 to 10. Capital Weather went big with 10 to 18. I think those lower totals are going to win out here. I think ABC and Fox with those 5 to 10, 4 to 10 predictions might be pretty right on. I honestly, just because of how close the environment matches our 2023 winter, I might even go lower than those. But again, I hope I'm wrong. All right. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. Please share this, and I'll be making more videos. All right. Have a good one. Bye. Sorry, kids.